I'm Noel. I run a talent agency called Inside Out Talent, and we look after artists and DJs and bands. We work at festivals, venues, corporate dues, weddings. We cover a lot of things. We curate stages for people like truck and tramlines and why not festivals as well. So we are drilling down and having a discussion about the Covid-19 situation and how it's affecting all our artists and people we work with and people we've known over the years, how it's affecting them directly. And today I'm here with Jayli, or Jamie.
Hello.
Jamie is a DJ slash producer and many other things. So hello, Jamie. If you could tell us a little bit about your past, your history, and how you got into this old business.
Yeah, so I was kind of always a creative person. After I finished school, I went to a stage school and I was in a West End show called Chitty Chitty Bang Bang back in the day and did loads of like theatre. And then after I left school, I got into a band with Sony. And then we were together for about 5 or 6 years. It was a great experience because we got to tour with Wretch 32 and N-Dubs. So you can imagine the era of that music. It was very like urban music was big then. So we were doing like the urban R&B vibes. And then after that disbanded, I found DJing to be something that I really enjoyed and I could do every single day. And I was like, oh, I'm actually really good at this. This is great. And so I should have figured it out way earlier, but I don't think I would have taken it seriously if I discovered it when I was like 18. So, because I was always the kid at school who had, I think the first tunes I ever downloaded was Frank Sinatra and Eminem. So the contrast of that was like crazy. So to be a DJ, especially a working DJ, you have to play every genre under the sun. And that's something that I could definitely do because I loved every type of genre of music, which also is quite annoying when you are an artist because you're like, oh, I'm going to have a Latin influence on this track. Oh, I'm going to have a urban influence on that track. So you need to keep structured when you are an artist to keep your sound in check. But when you are a working DJ, you have to go with what the client wants. And I've been very successful in being able to do that and make a career out of it. I bought my first home last year and from just being a DJ. So it is possible.
And so what's your what genre would you say you are now then? What's your main thing?
Well, I have a podcast called Jagged Jungle, which is like my passion. We've turned it into an event. It's a record label. It's a Spotify playlist. And we've just launched Mixcloud Select. So subscribers will get like exclusive interviews with loads of DJs. So we've got the first series of like 8 DJs. And then but you can only listen to it if you are subscribed to Mixcloud Select. And that's through Jagged Jungle. And that music is all about tropical house and tribal house. For people that don't know what tropical house is melodic house music that makes you feel fantastic. You know, just makes you want to take your top off and go into a pool and just go crazy. And I felt like that was something that resonated with my personality as well. And it was probably the most authentic way of getting across my energy through the music that we've been doing, creating and making these podcasts, these musical podcasts. So yeah.
So as a DJ who's worked all over the world and travelled a bit and done festivals and islands and I'm sure a few basement venues and places like that as well.
I've done them all. Yeah.
So the current situation that we're in, this must have impacted you pretty hard.
Yeah. Well, I had a great Jan and Feb, and then all that money that is owed to us from Jan and Feb, we haven't got paid because nobody can afford to pay us. Oh, really? So that's another thing. Yeah, like I was like, this is going to be a great year. I've got loads of bookings. It's going to be, got this festival, that festival, all these little plans coming up. And unfortunately, everyone, it just kind of just straight down. I remember I was playing at Tonteria in central London, and they were like, has it affected you, your gigs? And I was like, no, not at all. Like, I haven't really noticed it. I'm still getting loads of bookings. And they were like, oh, it's affected us. No one's coming to the club anymore. And I was like, oh, okay. And it was quite a quiet night when I was playing, and we were quite surprised by that, and I didn't think anything of it. That week, I had about 40 cancellations, and I was like, oh, wow. And it was so scary because obviously I've just bought my first home. I've got to pay my mortgage. I've got to pay my bills. I've got to eat. And you think like your savings, this is what people don't get. Your savings are for your dry months, your Januaries, when you have a dry. It's very much, oh wow, I have nothing, you know.
Yeah, and a
So
big problem for the festival situation. The season that we're in is the festival season, and a lot of people that I work with have been, that kind of April till September is massive for a lot of musicians and artists out there. So have you missed a whole chunk of traveling? Do you do Ibiza and things like that?
yeah, I mean, last year was crazy. We were doing Ocean Beach, we were doing BCM, and then flew back, and I was doing obviously all the weddings in between that was all canned. You have your residencies keep you afloat, and then those other little big jobs are just like the icing that helps you for when you have those dry months when you're not working. And everything has been put to a full stop. Like, I get anxiety to think, like, when I started DJing, I was living with my father, and he kept me afloat. So obviously when I was trying to find my contacts and when I was struggling and I had those dry months, I had my dad to like help me. Thank God. Now I'm like living alone in my first home that I have to keep my payments up. Even though we've got payment holiday, you go, oh my gosh, when are we going to be able to work again? And some of the venues that I normally work in have come back to me and gone, we can't pay you your rate that you would normally charge.
Yeah.
And that really upset me, because I wouldn't turn up with my shopping at a supermarket and go, I'm so sorry, I just can't afford to pay for my tomatoes this week, so I'm going to pay you £1 instead of the £3 that they are, you know? And it's like, you wouldn't pay your bartenders any less. So why do you expect to pay entertainment less?
Yeah.
Entertainment, if you want entertainment, stick to that fee. And if somebody, and I'm sure there will be people that will be like, I will take it for anything, like £100, that's fine. Then they're going to expect that they can get the same quality DJ for £100 when that DJ is worth £450, you know? And it's like, that's why we will have to stick to our guns and go, no, like, we are good at our jobs. We do so much before we even enter the room. So that's why you book professionals. And that's why you pay a little bit more than what you would pay just the average Joe to turn up and press play.
And for a lot of venues, it's going to be some time before they get open again anyway, and needing they need the entertainment. A lot of clubs will be music driven, obviously, and they can't just put a playlist on. They need a performer there as well to carry it through. So yeah, paying for the talent that they need to draw the crowds in is necessary. Maybe your relationship with venues and people you've worked for and clients that you've got over the years, this comes up a lot in these discussions as well, is about loyalty and sticking with the people who've been good to us.
I hope so, but that's another thing. You don't want to pressurize them to get paid for the work you've done to pay your bills. If they go, oh well, we're not gonna use Jayli anymore because she pesters us to be paid. Well, yeah, because it's the work I've bloody done. You know, like, we've done this work, bloody pay us the money. No, but it's just black and white. Like, this is why I think agents work better. If you pay an agency, they hold that back from the DJ anyway. Yeah. So it helps. But a lot of the jobs that I do, they come directly to me. So they have to trust. They have to trust I'll do a good job, and I'm going to turn up, and I'm going to be on time, and I'm going to do a good show. You know. So I understand their argument with not wanting to pay us first.
That's an interesting point about how it might change in the future. I think things will change, and I've heard different sides of that story. I've heard about payments where people actually, a lot, like you say, a lot of the work you do before you turn up is, you know, you do work at home and producing a show and getting it ready, and the legwork you put in. So some people are being paid for the time that they've already done. But we're all in it together. We've got to support the venues, and they've got to support the artists. So there has been a lot of camaraderie as well, that people are sticking by each other. But like I said, it's what happens in the future, I think. So what have you been doing outside of your normal gigging scenarios? You've been keeping yourself busy, or have you been looking for other ways to monetize what you do, or just been finding some projects to keep you occupied and keep you sane through all this? Because mental health is a big issue as well, I think.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like yesterday I had a breakdown. I burst into tears and I just was like, oh, I just don't know. Since lockdown, this is what I've been doing, is I've been actively looking for more sound design jobs and doing people's podcasts. So we did Influence Me, I produced that, and also worked for another company in Australia, and it's a consultant agency. And what we've done is we've created a radio show for them. Post-production is my favorite thing to do, just trying to find work like that, but also making my brand stronger as well. So we did the Jagged Jungle streaming festival for my brand, which is amazing. And we had 7 DJs, including Judge Jules, and we raised £4,000 to the food banks. So that was fantastic. And then obviously I would have never done these interviews if it wasn't for Corona. Like the interviews, the global interviews, to make it authentic to Jagged Jungle. I just loved those as well. And you talk about the power of music, and it's really entertaining to like speak to loads of DJs across the platform. You probably notice that as well when you do these interviews. They're great, but what we've been doing is I've been sending them questions, then recording it, sending it back, and then me creating the show. And we've been going through like their best song that they inspired to do their work for, you know. And I would have never started that if it wasn't for Corona. So I'm bloody glad in a sense that it's happened. And I've released 4 singles.
Yeah.
So yeah, the list goes on. I have been busy. I have been so busy.
But even with, again, there's the two sides of it. You've found things to do, and it's maybe made you do things that you had on a back shelf, or it's made you move into them faster than you would have done. And you've been really busy and really active on social media and stuff. But you do still have those highs and lows and feel down.
Oh, massively.
Because you still don't know what's around the corner, do you?
No, you don't. But I just have a feeling. I remember one person said to me once, always trust that you'll be okay. And I was like, okay, I didn't think of anything of it. And she was like, always trust. When one door closes, 5 more doors will open. So for instance, I had an episode where I lost my residency about 2 years ago. And then Head Candy opened up and they were like, right, we're going to do the radio, Head Candy radio show. And I was like, cool. So I got the training that I would have never, ever got from doing that radio show. And it's made my podcast stronger. And we then traveled the world doing all those shows and like making the brand bigger. And I learned so much more about music during that time than I wouldn't have done. So as one door closes, another opens. I just feel that it's going to be okay. And also it pushes you to do the things that you wouldn't do.
And it's, finding the time to do this stuff. So I imagine it has opened a lot more opportunities and things. What about with people as well? Yeah, relationships with other people that you might not have ordinarily spoken to during this time. I've found that people I would have just emailed, we've picked up the phone and talked about stories and stuff.
Exactly. Zoom. Like I feel like everybody is so much more open to like just jumping on the phone and speaking face to face like this. Like it's seeing the bright side. Also, most DJs I know have made their brands stronger, which will make them more authentic to their brand and make them more assets. Like I feel like I'm more of an asset now than I was 4 months ago. I've been doing all these like little mashups with Denon and Roland and starting friendships and relationships with these brands, like I jumped on the phone with Mixcloud today because we're going to be working on a new project. I don't think I would have ever done that if we weren't in this situation. All those challenges that you're having make you they say when you're doing really, really well, that's when you learn the least because you don't need to. And when you're struggling the most, that's when you learn the most. And I was like, oh my God, that's so true. Because you push yourself to go, right, I need to up my skills. I need to make myself stronger. I need to get my business stronger. And when through challenges, that's how you do it. So see, it is a positive podcast.
No, there's lots of positives. There is loads, and that's why we're doing this, is to find this stuff out and find out what's out there. And so you've been able to monetize stuff that you do online then. that you maybe didn't before?
No, not anything to do with money. Like every live stream I've done has been for free. I haven't made any money.
Okay.
The most money I've made is from just doing my releases, and that's been like £100 a pop. Doing these videos for Denon and Roland, I spend days like putting it together, producing it, going, right, what am I going to do for it, recording it, getting it perfect, then editing it, and then putting it out. They take days, and like we get a deck for, like, you don't get paid for that kind of stuff, and people think you do, and you don't.
So for feedback, how has that been with the general public? Are you communicating more? Of people been in touch, having watched your stuff? You know, has it helped?
Yeah.
Has
Oh my God,
I helped other people through this?
Oh my God, I've had so many people message me being like, oh, I bought the Prime 4 because of you. Oh, I went and got the new Denon because of you. And like, this is stuff I'm like, oh, wow, that's so cool. Like, they obviously watched it and went, yeah, I'm going to go out and buy it, you know? So that's good for the companies. Yeah, the comments, like, I can't believe how lovely some people are. Like, when I had my down day yesterday, I just put it on social media because people don't realize, like, you do have these behind the scenes, and it's good to say it because from time to time, people just feel like they're so alone and they're the only ones feeling like this and that, and it isn't the way. The social media presence has grown as well. So I'm like, perfect, like that's great.
So what other online stuff have you been doing?
So me and my partner, we bought obviously a house last year together, and he's also a freelancer. So it has been, Corona's been very stressful for both of us, but he's in the gaming community. So that has been fantastic because no one is doing anything except playing games.
What's he known as?
Mr. Banks, because his name is Barney Banks. And I think his gaming name is Mr. Banks. I should really know that. And he's been doing, you know, Twitch is a really popular thing at the moment. So he's become an affiliate of Twitch, but he's also a presenter for Clash of Clans.
Yeah. Right.
And he does a lot of content creating. He does a stream. I said to him, if you're going to do this properly, I said, I want you to do a stream every single day from 3 till 6, because then you will build your Twitch up. We give each other little challenges to push ourselves. So like, I'm doing my weekly like mashups with the controllers that I'm doing, and he does this. Between all of that, we've been doing our house up bit by bit. We video it sometimes and we put it on YouTube. So you can go check that out on his on his YouTube. And if I could give anyone an advice, if I could give my young self advice, I'd be like, stick to one thing and make it really, really good. Because when I was younger, I was singing, dancing, acting. I was doing everything, wanting to be everything. And I spread myself too thinly. And then, like the saying goes, you can do everything, but you're a master at none of them. Yeah. So if I could tell my young self that, I'd say just do that. But he loves doing these videos. So we'd like, for instance, my company that I DJ at called Passo, they've been creating these kits, home kits, where you get pizzas or pastas delivered to your house and you make them there in front of you. So we did like a perfect, like a pasto pizza kit that we created on the video, and it's hilarious. And also we did one with clothing, so we had to both pick like each other's outfits out and then order them, and then we did the whole video as well, and that's hilarious as well.
That's a key thing as well. I think having people around you, you're a really positive person, and having someone like that to bounce ideas off as well, and get each other through this kind of thing as well, and spurring each other on. You've been back to work, is that right? You've had a DJ job, is that?
I did one gig for the 4th of July for the opening, and that's it. Nothing else in the.
Can you describe a little bit what that was like? Because you know, what was it been 3 months?
It was weird. It felt fantastic to play to people, because I mean, as much as everyone likes live streaming, it's really hard for the DJ to perform to nobody. I really feed off everyone's energy and doing it alone is very, very hard. I felt like a bit rusty, not with my skills, but with reading what they like, what they don't like. Like, they gave me a face mask. I had a face mask, but they gave me a face mask with the logo branding on it and were like, wear this. Yeah. And I'm like so far away from everyone else, and I'm still wearing a mask, you know? It was weird. It was very, very weird, but at the same time.
what was that like on the dance floor? Or what were the customers doing? What did it feel like? What was the vibes? Must be so different.
People still danced, even though every time they went up on the dance floor, everyone told them to like go back to their tables.
Oh,
And
really?
that was the
So they
thing.
weren't allowed.
That's what killed the vibes. Yeah, because like we were all party. Everybody would come up and like party and like go
Yeah.
crazy. Because I always take people on a journey, so it goes.
Yeah.
So like when it was there, everyone was like, yeah, and then everyone, they're like, the managers are looking at me being like, ja, like play something shit, bring it back down. And I'm thinking to myself, well, this is my friggin' job. Like, what do you expect from me? Like, I am an entertainer. I entertain. So that was really difficult, you know.
Strange. Well, they'd have to get up one at a time. They could only one dancing couple at a time or something. So,
no, you know me. I love a big party.
Just yesterday was announced that entertainment can happen in outdoor spaces again, so live music and performances. We assume then it's okay to be hired as a DJ in a bar or venue, but you still can't do performances. So a DJ is not regarded as a performance, or
It's entertainment.
Have you got any details on that? Have you broken the
I
law?
actually no, that's the thing, like you're technically not allowed to have entertainers right now.
Yeah.
I don't know why a DJ isn't accepted, because you are away from everyone, but it's what the DJ creates, you know.
And that's what you're having to manage the crowd. It's what the crowd.
It's the crowd that makes the issue. I think a background DJ to create atmospheric stuff will probably be the first thing that's able to happen again. I've been booked for 2 festively kind of events for Foreverland in October, and that's the beginning of October, so that's about 3 months away.
So we're doing one of these chats with Butlins, and they've been talking to the government, and they'll be working over the next few months with the government on that first stage of indoor events. So they're going to be analysing their spaces and seeing what's possible and what isn't. So I think it's good to know that there's stuff happening and there's stuff going on, and I think it will, by the day now, definitely by the week, we're going to see massive changes and optimism all around. So is that the next gig you've officially got then, not till October? Yeah.
The thing is that I'm craving it so badly. I go to Ibiza next week and there's only like 4 venues open, and I was like, right, I'm going to go out there and network, but there's no one to network to because everything's shut. But at the same time, I think it is good to just keep active. It's better than staying at home like I have been and being depressed and sad and stuff.
You're going to Ibiza, are you?
Yeah, I'm going to go, and I'm going to bring my USBs, and if I can play, you will see me playing. Like, I'm going to try and play.
Some of the restrictions have changed for travel in the past 24, 48 hours as well. So I think those holiday avenues are opening up. So you might be surprised, I think, actually, when you get there. If I guess their laws are going to be different and rules are going to be different to ours. What's the situation out there? Do you know what's open and what they're allowed to do and what they're not?
I believe if you will get a £90 fine if you don't wear a mask, unless you're sunbathing.
Okay.
That's one of them.
Yeah,
and
you get a white face. Yeah, just a pat.
Yeah, exactly. And in Ibiza, when we looked last time, there was 3 venues open.
A lot of things I've been involved in have been rearranged, but rearranging something for the following year is a period where you would want to be your diary to be full in anyway. So yeah, it's just taking up dates that would otherwise be filled in due course anyway. So it's you're still losing out.
You've got to think positively during this. Yeah. There's no other way.
Yeah, that is another positive, and I think that a lot of people will just want to get out there. We're seeing it with some of the drive-in shows and stuff that's going on at the moment, that I think it doesn't really matter what it is. It's just good to get something rolling and something out there, and it proves that people will buy stuff because they just want to get out and they just want to do stuff. And again, to the drive-in things and people sat in their cars or beeping their horns or whatever, or spread out, it takes away what we strive for, that the reaction from the crowd, the interaction with the crowd. Same kind of thing, but what are you looking forward to when this all
I'm looking forward to earning money. I just wanna start earning money again and like just not being scared. I'm terrified. I am so terrified, and I'm trying to keep positive. And I think having that weight on you is horrible.
Yeah.
You get scared that like they're all going to go back to work. Everyone's going to go back to work, and I'm going to be like, every DJ is going to be scraping for any sort of gig, and then for any kind of money, and the fee's just going to drop, and then it loses the quality of paying a good DJ, and we'll lose the quality of getting a good DJ because anyone will take anything.
We are in our business, we are in this unique position. We see the pubs opening, the football's back on, you know, my street, most of my neighbours are all back to work and or weren't really affected anyway because what they do might be online or the businesses the areas that they work in. Whereas entertainment was the first one to stop and will be the last one to come back.
To get back. And it's weird, like, no, I felt like with support wise from the government and stuff, I felt a bit alone. We're like, we are there for your weddings, we are there for your birthday parties, we are there for every big moment that happens in your life. And the one time we need help, no one is there for us, and it breaks my heart. Like, I've raised so much money for charity during this time, but I haven't earned a penny myself.
Yeah. What do you think a realistic timescale is of getting back to some form of normality?
If we don't get a second wind, I think October.
Oh, yeah, that's positive. I'll take that.
Because obviously that's when I had like that big gigs coming through. I'm playing with James Hype and Joel Corey, which will be epic. Yeah. That time I feel like we'll be out of the water by then. But as long as people keep social distancing as much as they can, wear masks. Like, I was so surprised that the day on the 4th of July, walking down the street, no one was wearing masks. Wear a flipping mask. Just wear a mask. You're not hurting anyone. You're not harming anyone. I know it's annoying. I know we can't breathe properly. But unless you're in a small, just wear a bloody mask. For goodness sake, people.
You've got lots of positive stuff, and some of your quotes I think are fantastic for people to take something from and lift their spirits a little bit. Thank you very much for doing this, Jamie. I think
Thanks.
It's been really positive for people, I think, and I think I've caught you at a good time when we have just had recent news about things reopening and stuff. So hopefully your October events will happen. I think regardless, there's definitely going to be DJ performances. The phone will start ringing pretty soon.
Wear a mask, people. That's my quote. Wear a mask.
I think the next couple of months could be very interesting. So thank you very much, Jamie.
Thank you for having me.